This is like a church service that's so quiet. He is a preacher. Ray, could you fill in?
I'll fill in.
We got you a little bit right here.
I'll try to figure it out.
Okay. It is 7 p.m. I welcome you to the November 2nd, 2021 Richmond Hill City Council meeting. We have a really full agenda, so let's go ahead and jump right in. First, I would like to recognize a couple of distinguished guests. We have our city attorney of 40 years, Mr. Ray Smith, and former city council member Joanne Robinson Bickley is with us tonight as well. Thank you. Council Member Cox will lead us in the invocation, and Councilmember Ward will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let me pray. Heavenly Father, God, we just stop and thank you for all the blessings that you bestowed upon each one of our families that are represented here, Lord, and all the blessings that you bestowed upon the city. God, we thank you for allowing us to be here tonight. And I just pray, God, that each one of us be diligent and precise, Lord, as we're trying to make decisions that impact all the residents of this wonderful community. And God, I just ask that you be with each one of us as we make the decisions, Lord, and then help us to be able to explain anything to any of the residents that have any questions or any concerns, God. We all have a heart for this community. We have a heart for the residents. And God, I just thank you for putting a team together that can do your will for this wonderful city. We ask that you bless each one of us as we go back home tonight, God, and then bring us back at the next appointed time. In the precious Son's name we pray.
Tonight we have the opportunity and the special privilege, really, and the fun of announcing our 2021 Parade Grand Marshal. This is the 25th Richmond Hill Christmas Parade. Ms. Robinson, would you please come here? The City of Richmond Hill is pleased to announce that the 2021 Christmas Parade Grand Marshal will be Miss Sarah Robinson. Now, you're not supposed to talk about a lady's age, but I don't think Miss Sarah will mind. She is 99 years old and will be 100 on December 10th of this year. Born in 1921 in Indiana, Miss Robinson was a World War II veteran and met her husband, Robbie, at Fort Stewart. They settled in Richmond Hill in 1966, quickly becoming an important part of the community, which Miss Robinson still serves diligently. She is still a blood donor, active at the Richmond Hill United Methodist Church, and has helped to raise, guide, and discipline countless youngsters, teenagers, and young adults that have always been a mainstay at her home in Richmond Heights. Ms. Robinson, it is with great honor that we recognize your longevity, your service to our small town, and positivity that always comes to mind at the mention of your name. Thanks for serving this year as our first Centurion Grand Marshal. We will go ahead and reserve you a slot in next year's parade. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Get home to the Braves too, huh? With that said, let's roll.
Thank you very much.
We might lose the quorum up here. Council, next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? The motion carries. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve? Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Scholar. All in favor? The motion carries. Finance, Mr. Derek Coward.
Tonight in your packet.
Thank you very much.
Council, any other questions? Thank you. South Planning and Zoning, Scott Allison.
First items we have are public hearings at your Board of Zoning Appeals. So Mayor, if you can open this up in the vote.
All right. Hey, everybody, opening up the public hearing.
First one is a petition has been filed with the City of Richmond Hill by AAA Sign Company on behalf of Taco Bell requesting a variance to Article 16, Section 16.10 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for an additional building sign to be located at 40 Oleander Street. Council, you have within your packet the application along with the renderings of the particular sign I've noted for you. Is the one that's facing this direction on 144, not Oleander Street. I've also included the minutes from the Architecture Review Board meeting where they made a recommendation for approval. It's actually part of the building design to accommodate this sign. As you know, we run into this occasionally for additional signage in unique situations. The applicant is here if you have specific questions related to this sign tonight, things like that.
You consider this in a workshop, council. Are there any other questions or consideration? Is there a motion to approve? No, this is just public hearing. I'm getting ahead. Next.
Okay, next we have public hearing. It's a petition that's been filed with the City of Richmond Hill by Bellamia Italian Kitchen requesting a variance to Article 16, Section 16.10 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for an additional building sign located at 10747 Ford Avenue. As you guys see within your packet, this is again another unique situation that we've run into before where you have multi-tenant buildings and this particular business is using a second unit. So there's an empty space above where that entrance would be to that second unit. They're operating two different types of business operations within one business. So they're wanting to make sure and to note on the signage that it's for the Bellamia market and to-go section along with the restaurant. So this particular sign is for, as you see in the photo, is the one to the right.
This being a public hearing, is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against either petition? Hearing none, I now close the public hearing. We are back in the city council meeting where we will consider these variances.
Okay, so your items for consideration there, the approval, disapproval of the petition filed with the City of Richmond by AAA Sign Company on behalf of Taco Bell, requesting variance Article 16, Section 16.10 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for an additional building sign to be located at 40 Oleander Street.
Council, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the petition filed with the City of Richmond held by AAA Sign Company on behalf of Taco Bell requesting a variance in Article 16, Section 16.10 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for an additional building sign to be located at 40 Oleander Street.
Motion made by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? The motion carries.
Next item is the approval, disapproval of the petition filed with the City of Richmond by Bellamy Italian Kitchen, requesting a variance Article 16, Section 16.10 of the Unified Development Ordinance to allow for an additional building sign to be located at 10747 Ford Avenue.
Council, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? The motion carries.
Okay, moving forward. I mentioned already the ARB made recommendation for the previous approval. Going into the first readings, we have three first readings that are related to the same piece of property. You guys have seen this before on this particular property in a previous application. Still has discussions since then. But we have first reading. The first property is the 13.69 acres going from an R2 to a PUD. The second property is the 0.86 acres going from an R2 to a PUD. And the third is the 14.83 going from C3 to a PUD. Everything is within your packet from the application. I do want to pass out to you something that maybe emailed this morning that I was not able to get to your packet. It's related to some conversations that have been had about the accommodating parking and to help deter parking in the street. So, questions came up regarding being able to accommodate parking at the houses. It's discussed with the applicant. They put together here is a typical plan that can show you how many vehicles to be accommodated in the driveway. In addition, they have confirmed that there will be covenant restriction on parking the street along with the, if posted at the entrance, the city can enforce the parking the street during certain hours to help with emergency vehicles and the like. They've also included on their site plan, which you have with the new packet, additional parking in areas throughout the neighborhood. What you see here is that there are two types of house plans proposed. You've got one with no garage in the front and parking to the side, just like the Grove Park concept that they did previously. As we talked about before, they're just spaced out further. The second plan is a garage in front, so it can still accommodate 4 vehicles, some park in the garage. So the parking is similar from the standpoint of the two concepts.
Sure. Are they proposing, and I guess I gotta speak up, they're proposing a mix of these, or one or the other, or?
So the applicant can speak on that, but what they told me is that it would be a mixture. It isn't going to be every other house will be a different house plan, but they did confirm this evening that what they'll likely do is there'll be a cluster of, let's say, the garage type throughout the neighborhood, or it would be, every sequence, but it isn't that, if you were to go get lot 17, you've got an option of garage, no garage, the guy next to you has a similar. I think they're trying to cluster them together.
that, they'll both be good out in the morning. Do you know right now how many you're looking at that would be this versus this, if you're considering both in clusters?
It's both, probably around the third, you know, garages. What we were talking is every third house, or either the back cul-de-sac would be all garages. We would do it some type of sequence, so it wouldn't be just a hodgepodge of houses.
Do you have any complaints of your other project, the parking on the side?
It's a little different because there's actually parking in the front. So they have,
There's no garage.
that's right. So they have parking on the side, the front, and overflow. It's a little bit different situation.
This is the front on the road, right?
It's actually on the, it's actually in front of the home, it's on the sidewalk and the other side.
The driveway's not as deep.
That's right. We have parking stops.
In lieu of going in the street, parallel parking in the street, is why they've extended this one to the turn. And that concept is out the garage.
These are some building homes. So, like I said, the garage thing was
And we were just trying to add an option with the garage. With that,
Council, any other questions? Thanks.
Next, I have the disapproval of an additional SPOS allocation of $32,000 to the Basin 4 Engineering Services project to add the floodgate preliminary modeling, survey, feasibility reporting, and recommendations. We discussed this at workshop. You guys have the proposal in your packet, but in short, this is the study that we've been requesting to analyze and see the feasibility for floodgates on Sterling Creek. There's a lot of factors that have to come into play to see if it is something that is feasible, whether it be to eliminate some of the flooding or from an environmental standpoint. You don't want to impact anyone downstream and cause them to flood when they never did. So what this is going to do is a significant modeling, necessary reporting, and at the end of this, we'll have the ability to have a go-no-go on whether or not we proceed with permitting and things like that. It takes some time from the federal side.
Council, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve SPOS allocation.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? Motion carries.
Next, I have the disapproval of the SPOS allocation of $28,537.76 to J.C. Lewis Ford for 2022 Ford F-150 for building inspections and enforcement. Council, this has been discussed as well. This was something that was included in the SPOS budget for this year. It was held off towards the end of the year. The low bidder on it, or the low quote that is, was from J.C. Lewis out of the three we got.
Got how many miles on the truck that it's replacing?
It's an 05, not sure an exact mileage, pardon me, but it's high. It's been kind of in and out of the shop. What we'll likely do with that vehicle is it'll be given to EOM, and oftentimes with these old F-150s, they'll use it actually at the shop, for going to and from, get parts, things like that, or they'll pull parts from it. Sometimes they'll go to water operations. So it will be reused. It's not going to be auction. It's got some mileage on there, but not the amount that it's expected to put on the table.
Council, any other questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? Motion carries.
Next, I have the disapproval of the adoption of the access management plan in the right-of-way sections for Belfast Keller Road. This shouldn't look unfamiliar. You guys saw this. We had a joint workshop with the county on this, and they're looking to adopt this as well, a joint effort with us for the Belfast Keller corridor. The main purpose of this plan is to determine that we've worked with the master developer, landowners in the area, to determine when Belfast Keller gets wide, where are those breaks in the median going to be, where are the curved, but the full access, okay, so median breaks. And try to plan ahead so we eliminate situations where they're too close together and creates traffic issues, creates issues when lights are put in and things like that for traffic signals where it backs up significantly. We've seen that in other areas. As you know, these all meet the GDOT standards. Secondary to that, the sections are on the bottom of the sheet that you have in your packet. The purpose of those and adopting those right-of-way sections is that takes us to the step that we know and can establish what the center line of the road is going to be, to start doing some planning to acquire that right-of-way now. We have the ability to partner with the private landowner for some donation of right-of-way and things like that. That way it can be done before anything else comes out there. We plan ahead.
Council, any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve the adoption of the access management plan and roadway plan for the Buckeye County Road.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Ward. All in favor? Motion carries. New business, Scott's got a few words on the final vote on Miss Angela Davis's appeal.
Yes, serving in Chris's absence, I'll run through this with you. It's the final vote on Miss Angela Davis's appeal. So if you recall, last summer, Miss Davis made a claim regarding tree roots having damaged her house. You first considered this at your August meeting. After consideration, you voted to deny that claim, and Miss Davis has since filed an appeal, as anyone has the right to do after a decision by council. That appeal was set for the September meeting. Unfortunately, Ms. Davis was unable to make that meeting, and it was transferred to the October meeting, where you heard from Ms. Davis again, but did not vote on the appeal. You announced the appeal for a month, and the city attorney has mentioned to me that we would advise you to proceed to vote on the appeal unless you need additional time or information from staff or the city attorney. So essentially what we're asking is, do you wish to overturn the original decision, or do you wish to uphold it?
Or do we need any more time? Council, do we need more time? Is there a motion?
I make a motion that we allow the decision from August to stand.
This would be a denial of the appeal. Motion made by Councilmember Scholar. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Ward. All in favor? Motion carries.
Okay, next we have the approval, disapproval of a sewer bypass pump purchase in the amount of $52,448 from Racino from the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund. I do want to note that this pump was on EOM's list of capital requests for 2021 that we've been using throughout the year. The budget for the pump was $65,000 compared to the bid, or low bid that is, of $52,448. This is going to come in very handy. We have to rent these pumps currently, and we're spending a good amount of money renting them. Having one on hand will eliminate the need to rent, spend those unknown expenses to some degree. It also can be transported in hurricane situations. As you know, we have generator issues and things like that where we're shuffling generators around. Sometimes if there's problems with that lift station, having the essentially a mobile pump that you can move around comes in very handy.
Council, any questions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? Motion carries. Communications, please join us for a Veterans Day ceremony at J.F. Gregory Park on Thursday, November 11th at 11 a.m. Also, I'd like to add in December 4th, first Saturday in December, the 25th Annual Christmas Parade. Council, anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to adjourn by Councilmember Ward. Is there a second? Second by Councilmember Cox. All in favor? We are adjourned. Go Braves.
Well,